Respect, bro.
Great work.
Appreciate it.
Great work. That was good.
We're gonna train again. Easy.
There is a saying, I would say, there's a saying that a happy fighter makes a dangerous fighter, in the sense that if you put them in the right environment and their brain is receptive of what they're being taught, they're going to be more in tune with what they're going through.
2, 1, let's go. Wow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Give me more, give me more, give me more.
That's his mindset in everything he does, whether it's training, whether it's work, whether it's helping other people.
With only a few days left until fight night, Anthony Joshua has fully locked in, and everything coming out of his camp points to a man treating this bout with absolute seriousness.
You know, so I use YouTube a lot, where there's a lot of videos what I listen to and I update it, and I can always revert back to it when I'm feeling low to get a bit of motivation. Fear comes in many forms. There's some things that I can't get over and I'll always be scared of, but I take the positive from it. Like, I'm never so confident I'm gonna win. It's probably the fact that I'm scared to fail.
Coaches aren't meant to understand that you're tired. Coaches aren't meant to understand that you have emotions. Coaches are just supposed to look at you like you're a machine, and they just want results. I may be tired, but I just got to bite down on my gum shield, because if I can perform to an elite level when I'm tired, imagine what I can do when I've got rest and when I've got energy. I've been through them days where I'm looking at sympathy and you just don't get it. In sport, but you don't get it. I always knew there could be the most talented fighter out there, especially in our industry. If they can't sell tickets, they can't put bombs on seats, they'll never showcase their skills to the world, no matter how good they are. And that's why I say you have to have marketability and you have to have ability. And when you bring those two worlds together, it's a recipe for success.
There's no
With just a few days remaining before fight night, Anthony Joshua is completely focused, and everything coming from his camp shows a fighter taking this matchup with total seriousness.
Stay humble means treat the person who is beneath you in a different class to the same person who's above you in a different class. It's an equal playing field, and we have to treat everyone with the same respect. And that's why, you know, people fight for equality. And I think that's important, and that's why I mix stay hungry and stay humble together in such a fine way that they gel together well. Stay hungry, stay humble.
Joshua.
It is a clear formula for winning. There is no relaxed attitude and no exhibition mindset, only non-stop preparation as AJ improves his fitness, tightens his combinations, and fully commits to a disciplined, pressure-driven plan. This fight is not about hype or novelty. It is about timing, control, and making sure nothing is left unfinished when the bell sounds.
So, if I've got to tell you to get up, and I've got to tell you to go to work, and I've got to tell you to do everything, then until that person stops telling you, you're never going to be able to achieve anything. So that's the best piece of advice I've been given, is find it within yourself to be motivated. You've been blessed with a brain, heart for emotions, spiritual connection.
As the countdown continues, the message from the camp is simple and strong. AJ is not easing into this moment at all. He is fully committed and determined to leave nothing to chance when he steps into the ring. On the other side, Jake Paul is also training hard and staying locked in. He is working with heavier sparring partners and improving his movement as he prepares for the biggest challenge of his boxing career.
There's very clear paths to being able to beat Anthony Joshua. Something about him. I was supposed to fight Gervonta and then go and fight Joshua maybe next year. When Gervonta got into his whole fiasco, Joshua was one of the first names on the list. I would say he's definitely was surprised and maybe thought I was just all talk and not actually wanting to do it and just saying it for hype. I think that's what a lot of people think when I say crazy things like fighting Canelo or Bud or Joshua. So I think he was actually surprised to get the deal done.
The confidence is still there, but the training shows a clear awareness of what lies ahead. Longer rounds, stronger defense, and constant focus on handling pressure define the work. As time runs down, Jake's camp is spending less energy on talk and more on being ready. They understand this is not another crossover appearance, but a night that will decide how seriously his boxing path is viewed.
I don't want to ask you about a prediction for Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua because I think a lot of people know what will happen. But is it dangerous for Jake Paul to be taking on a big heavyweight? You're a heavyweight, man. I wouldn't want to get punched by you here. Is it very dangerous for Jake Paul to be taken?
I mean, no matter what it is, it can be an exhibition fight or whatever fight it is. When two guys step over that rope and they got bad intentions or they ready to throw blows, it's always bad. You got to understand that boxing is a dangerous business and the head is not meant to be hit in the first place. Doctors will always tell you the head is not meant to be hit. The body is not meant to be hit. The head is not meant to be, the brain is not meant to be.
As Jake Paul's camp sharpens its focus in the final days, the wider boxing discussion has also intensified with Jim White, Simon Jordan, and Adola Depot presenting the fight on TalkSport as a moment that mixes spectacle with real consequences. With the bout just 1 week away in Miami, the panel recognized its huge commercial appeal, while also questioning how such a matchup received approval, pointing to Florida's history of allowing unusual contests. Jordan argued that Paul's position comes more from business power than sporting achievement, explaining that while Paul attracts viewers and subscriptions, the skill gap between him and a former unified heavyweight champion is still very clear.
AJ was fighting an area level heavyweight. Now, it wouldn't go beyond a round. I'd expect AJ to get rid of him, let alone AJ being 40 pounds heavier. The Americans look at AJ slightly different to how we do. They look at him as someone that's washed up. When he was in their country, he got beat by Andy Ruiz, who's not gone on to do anything. If Andy Ruiz went on to have this glittering career, then it maybe would have made that defeat look a lot bigger. They watched him recently get defeated by Daniel Dubois. They think he's done. So they don't have respect for him maybe the way we do over here. So Jake thinks he can win. I've been around Jake and he's delusional, but he's very strong-minded. So he thinks he can win, but there's no way this should go beyond 3 minutes.
Who's the A side? Who walks into the ring first?
AJ walks into the ring first, so Jake.
White shifted the conversation toward the financial side, explaining why top-level fighters would take chances like this. Allow added balance by pointing out Paul's role in boosting boxing attention and promotion, especially through modern platforms. Together, they agreed that despite the hype, this is a real fight with real danger. They warned that if Joshua fails to finish Paul in a convincing way, it could upset carefully planned future paths. From where we stand, and where most viewers are watching, the view was clear curiosity will bring massive numbers. But once the bell rings, the sport's harsh order is expected to take over again.
I heard you mention there are two behemoths involved here. How is Jake Paul a behemoth?
He's a behemoth in terms of his following and in terms of the pulling power he has. He's now, whether hardcore boxing fans want to admit this, he's one of the faces of boxing. And that's saying something. Like, the amount of people that put their hands up to want to fight Jake Paul when they realized the Gervonta Davis fight weren't happening. He can, like, Alexander Usyk says he wants to fight him. Yeah, like that's the one of the biggest names in the sport. There aren't that many people.
You love the sport, Addy, and you love working in it. Is it an uncomfortable truth, if you like, that Jake Paul is part of the top flight boxing scene?
Discussion led by Jim White, Simon Jordan, and Adola Depot focused on the commercial weight and regulatory concerns around Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. The conversation naturally moved to reactions from fighters themselves, especially Michael Bisping. Responding to the rising number of well-known figures predicting a Paul win, Bisping showed clear disbelief at the idea that Joshua could be knocked out by a YouTuber turned boxer, even while admitting how strange it feels that the fight is real. He referenced comments from names like Tyson Fury, who publicly said he would support Paul getting a knockout, and Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, who suggested that Joshua's past stoppage losses show possible weakness.
We had Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, a tremendous world champion, one of the best boxers of his generation. Apparently, and I don't know if he's serious, but he says that he put £1 million on Jake Paul to knock out Anthony Joshua.
Seriously? Jake Paul chins AJ, yes, they fight. Are you serious? 100%. If they fight, I'm putting £1 million on Jake Paul.
And we know, first of all, that Tyson Fury doesn't really like like Anthony Joshua. So maybe he's just saying that, maybe he's talking shit. Or has he really put £1 million on? Because if he has, I want to see that betting slip. And could you imagine if it came in? I don't know what the odds on Jake Paul knocking him out are, but they're going to be pretty big.
From Bisping's point of view, those opinions seriously stretch belief, especially when measured against Joshua's Olympic background, elite-level experience, and proven success against top heavyweights. While he accepted that Paul has improved, shows some power, and deserves respect for taking on dangerous fights, Bisping described the growing belief in Paul as proof of how warped modern boxing talk has become rather than an honest view of the matchup. He pushed the conversation back to boxing basics and real risk, making it clear that Joshua is not just a famous name, but a seasoned heavyweight with speed, timing, and fight-ending power Paul has never encountered. He dismissed the idea that Joshua would need to fight cautiously or rely on movement, instead pointing out that Joshua has repeatedly shown he can stand his ground and break down big, strong opponents. He pointed to the brutal knockout of Francis Ngannou as a recent reminder of that reality.
To have to dance around the ring, get on his bike, play cat and mouse, dancing around, picking shots and stick and move. No way. Remember what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia? He stood there, toe to toe, waited for the opening, threw a right hand. It was like absolute lightning and the power was crippling. Every single right hand that Anthony Joshua threw, he dropped Francis Ngannou, who is a gigantic human being who does have truly one-punch knockout power, as we know.
I need to knock him out.
I like that.
So Mighty Mouse, love you, bro, but what on earth are you talking about?
Addressing claims that the fight could be staged or softened by secret agreements, Bisping relied on Eddie Hearn's firm denials and the strict legal structure of professional boxing. He explained that if such accusations were true, the damage to reputations and regulation would be massive. From where we stand, and where most viewers are watching, Bisping's conclusion was clear. While the spectacle creates noise and debate, this is still a real fight with real danger. And if anyone is likely to suffer for misunderstanding the gap between hype and true heavyweight reality, it will not be Anthony Joshua. When everything is viewed together, Joshua's fully focused camp, Paul's intense but defense-first preparation, the TalkSport skepticism from Jim White, Simon Jordan, and Aid Oladipo, and Michael Bisping's complete rejection of upset talk, a clear picture emerges. This fight is marketed as entertainment, but it carries serious heavyweight consequences. I respect Jake Paul for taking the risk and putting real effort into boxing, but hard work and ambition cannot replace years of elite experience, size, timing, and fight-ending power. Arguments about money, licensing, and storylines can go on endlessly, but once the bell rings, the reality is simple. A former unified heavyweight champion is standing across the ring, someone who has crushed world-class athletes the moment they made mistakes.
But also from people in the boxing world that look at this as a spectacle and look at this as a circus, a sideshow, a freak show attraction, and also something that is extremely dangerous. Because if this is a real fight, and apparently it is, so we'll go with that, there's a very good chance that somebody gets hurt. And I'm sorry to say, because I love Mighty Mouse, it ain't going to be Anthony Joshua.
I mean, we seen the Mike Tyson. That was all fun. That was cute. You know what I'm saying? It's fun and games and stuff. But now you're dealing with a real professional, you know. And so we'll see how it ends up in, you know.
From where I'm sitting and where you're watching, this feels less like a 50-50 guessing game and more like a measure of how long Paul can handle real danger before heavyweight reality catches up. My pick is Anthony Joshua by early stoppage. Not because Jake lacks heart, but because boxing has a way of teaching hard lessons about levels. At heavyweight, those lessons come fast and without warning. To sum it up, this fight sits at the crossroads of ambition, business, and heavyweight truth. We have Anthony Joshua treating this like a serious professional mission, Jake Paul facing the toughest challenge of his boxing career, and voices across the sport, from media to fighters, agreeing that hype can only outrun reality for so long. That doesn't take away from the intrigue or courage involved, but it makes the stakes very clear. This isn't just entertainment, it carries real consequence. Now I want to hear from you. Does Jake Paul have something we're missing, or is this exactly how most heavyweight mismatches end when the bell rings? Share your thoughts in the comments, let's debate it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you next time.